This is where you need to be very strict with yourself, particularly if you're feeling tired right now. You've got to look after yourself. And if you're not able to listen to what your mind and your body is saying, then you've got to systemize your way around that.
Paul Green's
MSP Marketing
Podcast.
Let's start this week by talking about knowing when it's time to stop. So I think we've reached a really interesting part of the year, the end of January, where you've kind of had that bit of a refresh, a bit of a break from Christmas, and then you've come into the new year full of new ideas. Well, I hope you did anyway. Full of new ideas, full of new energy. And of course, you hit that first working day of January where everyone's got things they need you to do, the support requests, there are projects, and it can be quite an overwhelming month, January. And that's not just within IT. I think within all businesses, January can be a very overwhelming month, especially for accountants here in the UK, for CPAs, all the personal tax sort of deadlines at the end of January. I think it's today, like the 31st of January is the... I know trying to talk to your accountant if you're in the UK in January is not easy because they've got so many bits of paper to file, but everyone really struggles with January. And the problem is you get to this kind of time of year and all of that energy is starting to run out. Essentially what I'm talking about here is knowing when it's time to stop, knowing when it's time to have another break, knowing when it's time to just slow things down a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, I am the most keen person on progress and pushing and constantly improving your business and making things better and just driving. But, you know, I'm getting on a bit now, and I'm not sure how old you are, but I'll be 49 this year, which is literally the single most terrifying thing I think I've ever said on this podcast. 49. I remember being 39 and thinking, God, 40 is a bit old, isn't it? Well, now I'm a year and 6 months away from being 50. That's actually horrifying. And one of the net effects of that is I just don't have as much energy as I used to. Can't even talk properly. I used to have so much energy. I still have got lots of energy, don't get me wrong. I am full on most days. But what I have noticed is that the point at which I have to stop and, just pull things back a little bit, it's getting earlier and earlier in the evenings, especially in winter time like this. I'm better in the summer, really. So I'm going to move to Portugal one day. So the point I'm trying to make is we as business owners are constantly running the risk of burnout. Because especially you're in the world's most changing industry ever, where everything changes every single day. There's new horrors every single day, new things you have to be aware of and train on every single day. Plus you're trying to grow your business and you're trying to push things forwards and drive things. Can you see how that puts you at the risk of burnout? I don't have as much change in my world being marketing, but I feel that sometimes I'm at the risk of burnout. So what I've had to do over the years and what I'm highly recommending you do is that you just listen to yourself. It's kind of about listening to your mind, and it's about listening to your body and just reading the signs. We have a very good built-in alarm system, a warning system, which tells us if we've just gone too far, we've done too much, we've piled too much on. It's almost impossible for us to really fully burn out, but only if we actually listen to ourselves. And often that comes out, I think that the warning signs are delivered to us at the weekends. If on a Saturday morning, if you're springing out of bed full of energy, ready to get on and do fun things, then I think you're okay. You're at very little risk of burnout. But if for you, sort of Friday night to Saturday morning is the beer zone, and you wake up on the couch at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and getting out of bed on a Saturday is a difficult thing to do, especially if you've got like kids and they're full of energy and they want you to do things. I think that's a warning sign. That's your body and your mind telling you, whoa, you got to slow down a bit there, son. We have to listen to this. We have to listen to our minds and our bodies. Now, one of the ways, because I like systems, I'm sure you like systems as well. So one of the things that I've done to systemize myself around this, because I go on and off for this. I have weekends where I'm exhausted and then weekends where I'm bursting with energy. What I've done to systemize this is I've built into my schedule a series of breaks, a series of holidays. I'm quite lucky to have a child who's going to turn 13 this year. So obviously that means we have I think it's between 12 and 14 weeks of the year where she's not at school. Those are the most challenging weeks of the year, as you can imagine. I do like school for the childcare, if nothing else. But what I've done to systemize around that is I've just made sure that there are holidays in there. I've made sure there are weekends away, the holidays. Essentially, and this is a great thing to follow. This is a great system. I've put the holidays and the weekends away and the fun into my diary and then built the work around that. In fact, I did that for this year back in September last year. As I do in every September, I sit and look at the year ahead. So our holiday for this year is locked. It's there. There's nothing, literally nothing in the morning. In fact, we've booked it. We haven't just put a couple of weeks in the calendar at the start of August. We've actually physically booked it and paid a deposit. That's real now. I'm just about to book next Christmas's or this Christmas's holiday away, and we've got fun weekends assigned. We haven't filled them all, but the point is they are in the calendar. The work stuff has to fit around them. There are some weekday things that I really want to do. They're in the calendar. The work will have to fit around them. So I've kind of created this, it's not a very smart system, but it's a system of forcing myself to have downtime. And as I say, having a child makes that easy because it affects the whole family. If you've got children, you can do exactly the same thing. Prioritize your children and your family on a series of different things and space them out throughout the year. I think it's harder if you don't have family or if you don't have particularly children, because obviously children are driven by a school agenda more than anything else. This is where you need to be very strict with yourself, particularly if you're feeling tired right now. What if you put in 1 weekend in 3, you go away somewhere? And not just go away, you go away on Fridays. You go away, let's say Friday lunchtime, and you don't come back till Sunday night or Monday, whatever works for you. The point being, your entire week's work can be driven by fun starts at lunchtime on Friday. And I'm not saying we should suppress all of or compress all of the fun into just our leisure time and just our time off. What I'm saying is you've got to look after yourself. And if you're not able to listen to what your mind and your body is saying, then you've got to systemize your way around that. And having scheduled holidays in your calendar is one great way of doing that.
Paul Green's
MSP Marketing
Podcast.